Free short videos are posted on Facebook completely changed how I grow audiences online, and most people still don't realize why they worked. If I'm honest, I almost didn't post one of them, and it brought in 12,000 new subscribers and $500 in ad revenue to my business. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what these videos did differently, why they generated so many new subscribers, and why they had so much revenue. But most importantly, why did it make people stop scrolling and start following? If you're posting content for your business, it's the difference between hoping something goes viral and engineering it. So let's dive in and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So first things first, I'm going to show you a video which is shorter than the others. Now this is really important because one of the first factors that I'm going to discuss is regarding retention. And typically the shorter the video is, the more attention you'll get. So you'll be able to understand this and I'll be able to break this down for you. But first things first, I'm going to show you the video just so you get an idea exactly what it's about, and then we can start having a deep dive into the stats. So this is a very short video, and it's for one of my businesses called Dance.fit. It still makes me smile every time I see this. Now the total length of the video is around 11 seconds. So it's only a short video, and it's as simple as that. So nothing major. Pretty much anyone could create this type of video, but instantly I connected with this for a few reasons. So I'm going to dive into retention. I'm going to explain to you why this video has done 3.2 million views, as you can see here. It's also generated almost $500 in ad revenue. And like I say, this was actually the one I almost didn't post. I didn't actually think it would do as well as it did. And this one, no doubt, has gone viral. So this one's generated that amount of ad revenue. It's also had 12,197 new net followers to the account, which is huge. If you could echo this across all of your content, then obviously you would have a very, very busy account. But we'll dive into why this is done so well. So we're going to start with retention. Retention basically means it's average watch time divided by the video length. So for instance, if you have a 10-second video and someone watches up to 7 seconds, then basically that means that it's had 70% retention rate. Typically, a 65 to 80% is a very strong retention rate. Now, the stronger it is, the more chance your video has of getting all of these stats. If you have an 80 plus retention rate, then that's what we're talking about viral. Now this one, as we're seeing, we're going to go into the retention. Now basically, as you can see here, now this is in the stats section, the post insights of your page. So audience retention here, we've got an average watch time of 94% midway, which is absolutely bang on the money. So as I was explaining there, 80% is viral content, and this one proves it. Now, one of the things that can really help with retention is the length of the video. Typically, the shorter the video, the better the retention. And it's simple. We have short attention spans, and it's very hard for us to watch a whole 30 to 60 second short. If they do watch the whole short, this is a signaling factor to Facebook to push it out to a wider audience. So you have a better chance of someone finishing a 10-second short than you do a 30. And it's as simple as that. Now, on these stats here, it obviously proves it. Now, basically, not only that has an impact, but the also replayability of the short. Now, typically, and we all do this, if a short is, say, 5 to 10 seconds, it's over so quickly that we tend to watch it again. So that is another signaling factor that Facebook need to push it out to a wider audience because someone's watched it 2-3 times, if that makes sense. So next we have shareability, and this normally indicates 3 factors. So typically the content's that good that it needs to basically be shared with other people. The second one is that it's got off-platform ability. For instance, it's now circling amongst friends on Messenger, on WhatsApp, etc. So it's off platform. And next we have that it's created a emotional surplus. So basically someone either likes it, it's useful for later, or this moved me enough that I need to send it to someone else to move them. A reel typically with like say 2,000 likes but 80 shares will usually outperform something that's got say 10,000 likes and 5 shares. And the reason for that is because obviously engagement's one thing which we'll get onto, but for someone to share that content what Facebook's loving at that point is that it's getting other people to come back to their platform, which is what it wants. It wants as many people to come to their platform and be on it for as long as possible. So shareability is equally as important, if not more, as retention. As we can see here, we've got some indicating factors. So we've got 775 people have shared this. Now that's going to play a big part, that's a huge part, of increasing the engagement, comments, and obviously the overall retention, the viewership of the video. Now, typically from my experience, the most shared reels aren't the funniest, they aren't the most educational, but the most relatable. People will share content if it's completely relatable. And the reason why this one in particular has done so well, in my opinion, is because it's completely relatable. Every single person has done some form of exercise, and there's a huge population that love Zumba. So this one's really relatable because they can see themselves at that Zumba class, and more than likely they would like to go to a Zumba class that has this appeal. Now next we have engagement. This is the next signaling factor to Facebook of how well this will perform. Now if we look at this, we've obviously got huge engagement, which you always do with a video that has millions of views. Here you can see we've had 42,000 people like it, and we've had 240 comments. Again, another massive signaling factor to Facebook that this is content to be pushed out to a wider audience, hence why it did. Now, why engagement is so effective is because what you've got to imagine is typically we are scrolling through Facebook. We might consume the video, i.e. watch it. However, to actually stop and comment or like it, you've actually physically stopped that person, and Facebook love that as a signaler. Now, it means that they passively didn't consume the content, and Facebook looks out for content that basically adjusts the behavior of the person on the platform. Each time someone comments and likes a post of any of your content, it is a great signaling factor. Also as well, what you've got to remember is anytime someone posts something, typically it will create a reply thread, especially on content like this. Now, what that does is that again signals to Facebook that is getting pushed out to a wider audience, but it also notifies the original poster every time. So basically that creates a conversation. Another thing that Facebook loves because it keeps them on platform. Now, most creators will make the misconception that all engagement is good. It's actually not the fact. Now, typically there's 4 things that I personally do to increase the engagement on any of my posts for my businesses. The first one is identity. So do they see themselves in that video? Do they connect with it? The reason why this one is so effective, again, because they see themselves at that Zumba class. They have been to one of them Zumba classes, so they instantly connect with it. The next factor is, do they agree, or even better yet, disagree with the content? And the reason why this is so effective is because people get passionate and they will comment on posts because they simply disagree with the content of it. And then last but not least, do people find it useful? If they do, they'll normally comment because it will signal the algorithm to loop back around and show them more content of it. There's a weird psychology with people where they actually like the content, but they don't feel enough to actually like the page. So they'll comment because the algorithm then recognizes it. Now, last factor we have is the amount of saves your reel, your short form content has. This is a bit of a silent killer because on the surface, it doesn't actually show you anything. Unlike comments and likes, obviously that's quite a visual, impactful thing. With saves, people can't see that behind the scenes. But it is a huge factor for Facebook for quite a few different reasons. So let me explain. The reason for it is because it's actually showing Facebook that there's future value of that content. So not only has someone consumed it there and then, but they like it enough to save it so that they can go back and watch it later. So that's why it's such a big factor. Saves simply extend the lifetime value of your video. Now, this video in particular, this one got posted on the 8th of October, and it basically is produced up until very recently. It's only just slowed down. Those 3.1 million views that video has had, that was over a 2 to 3 month period. And again, the reason for it is because it was constantly getting reactions, it was constantly getting saves, shares, and that was just kept pushing it, pushing it, and pushing it. I've even seen shorts on other business pages that I run that have gone on for 6 months to 12 months. It can be that long of a period. So don't underestimate the power of saves, because then they are signaling that they can go back to it later, which they often do. So there's 3 types of content that, for me, normally gets saved. So it's actionable content. Things like, how do I lose a stone in a month? If I'm interested in that and I'm looking to diet, if that's showing me what I actually need to do, I will normally save that for later. The second is entertainment-based content. So I typically would save something just because it's entertained me that much that I would like to revisit it at a future date. Or I'm saving it because I want to show my wife later on when she gets home from work, and it's that good. I don't typically want to send it because she's at work. And then last but not least, relatable. How relatable is that to your life? Can you see yourself doing it, yourself and your family? Normally that would be something that I would save for myself, and you typically expect that with other people. Now, hopefully you understand the identifying factors of why these videos are going viral and generating so much in ad revenue. But what I'd like to do is a deeper understanding, because I've got 3 different videos, and showing them all will really indicate to you why they actually have done so well. Now, I'm going to go to another one and you'll see exactly what I mean when I'm saying this. Right, so this one's very different. This one's had 1.3 million views. Now, the big difference between this and the last one is this is actually 30 seconds long. So this is actually 3 times as long as the first one. Now, there's a couple of reasons why this was so effective. The first one being the song choice. Now, this is a real impactful thing you can do. And it's one of the reasons why some of the content that we produce actually goes out. So there's multiple factors here. The first one, which you'll notice, is we've used the word Zumba class within the description of the video. This is really impactful because Zumba class and the descriptions are read by the SEO of the platforms. So because it's there, we don't need to say anything else, bar that. It gets picked up and the algorithm recognizes that it's Zumba and it connects with other people that are interested in Zumba. This one, again, is really relatable. People can see themselves in that class. It's normal women, but it's fun. It's in a fun way. Now, the difference between this and other content that's on the page, again, this one, typically the average viewership is around 60,000 to 100,000. So this one's classed as viral. And for me, I normally class viral as typically 10 times the X of a normal short or reel. So this one's gone viral. And the reasons for it are, we've got other shorts that are like this. This one for me is all to do with song choice. It was good timing. So it was Beyonce Texas. It was right on trend when Beyonce had recently launched the album, and it tapped into a trend, which is equally important. If you can use music that's relatable, obviously this one is massively because they actually performed it in class and the routines are to it. There's a big trend of following them songs that are current in the market. You see this a lot on TikTok. You can also utilize this on Facebook as well. Now, as you can see, which is really important. So if I go to the average retention rate, bearing in mind what I said to you, so it's 65 to 80%, we have got it there or thereabouts. So it's on the lowest scale. So it's got great retention, but it hasn't got that viral part of the retention should I say, but it hasn't got the viral part of the retention, i.e. 80% like the last video, and it's all to do with the length of it. So in my opinion, if this was 10 seconds, it actually would have hit the retention rate that we were looking for. It's a lesson here, and we've started to do this a lot more. If you've got a reel that actually is 30 seconds long, but it could be shorter, do that because it's going to impact your retention rate. Typically now what we're doing, and it's not an exact science this, but if we've got a 30-second short, we will then split that into 3 separate 10-second reels because the performance of them, i.e. the retention, is going to be a lot better. But what's really interesting for me on this is this has got 1x the amount as the previous video. However, shares, saves and reactions are very similar. The only change and difference between the two videos is actually the retention. So that shows you exactly the importance of the retention rate. Now, the last video, and this one's very different, and this shows you the exact type of content. Obviously, the previous two are just Zumba classes, because that's what my business is. One of my businesses is called Dance.fit, and it basically has an online fitness program that gets rolled out to people all around the world. There's the two types of content that are just based around that. Now, this one, for instance, and this also shows you something extremely important, which I'll show you. So this video itself, this was released at Christmas, and it's done a couple of things, and it's a reason why it went viral. Not as viral as the others. This one's had a total of 578,000. But again, if your average viewership is 50,000, which this account is, then it's 10x. So it still has gone viral. You need to remember that it's important. What's viral for your account, not what's viral online. So if we look at this video, and I'll let you have a listen as well. So this is a play on a Christmas film, and basically replicating that, but indoors. Now, this one is actually 43 seconds long. So it's actually longer than all of them. That's why I wanted to show you it. So this one itself, it was planned well. It was shot with multiple angles in different scenes. It was dynamic, and it had a narrative to it. It was well thought out, and it took a lot longer to produce, but it didn't actually produce as many views as the first one. So it's not always the case. But what this one has done is this basically made more reactions and comments and shares per 500,000 than any of the other videos. So that's an important factor. This one's produced 1,700 net followers, which is still decent, but not as good as the first one. And the most crucial factor here, and this is really important because you need to decide what you actually are doing Facebook for. This one's had zero earnings at all. Bearing in mind that the first one I showed you had $500 in ad revenue. And that's one short. That one short could have been replicated, and I could make 10 of them a day. That's a lot of money, and that's a lot of repeat money. Now, this one, for instance, has received nothing. And the reason for it is because the music used on it, unfortunately, as you can see here, it was muted in several countries due to the copyright. Now, that's an issue that you have to avoid. So if you're doing this to monetize yourself, then please always use music that is actually monetizable. This one isn't. Now, this wasn't the objective. I knew that this wouldn't make any money, but that wasn't the objective of this at all. It was Christmas time. I wanted to get people excited about our program during Christmas. And we also got a bunch of new signups for this. So it was great for my business, bad from a point of view of generating money from the video. So I hope that gives you a bit of a breakdown of three very separate videos. There's a lot of techniques and a lot of practice. And if I'm being completely honest with you, not a lot of people will say this to you, but I can do all of this. I know a lot about the industry and what goes viral, hence why I'm showing you these videos. But sometimes Facebook will just chuck you a bone. They just want to throw something out there. We can plan and we can prep and we can do everything I talked about, but just sometimes it's just about Facebook going, you know what, you posted enough, I just want to throw you a bone. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a bit of a long one, but I really wanted to go in depth of everything you can see behind the curtain because it's really important that. So make sure you like and subscribe for more content, and you can see more things like this in the future.